Nintendo finally decided to grace us with the reveal of the Switch 2, and despite us knowing it existed for what felt like eons, we now have a relatively good idea on what it looks like, which is basically just a bigger Switch that now has magnets. I still think the Switch 2 needs to have just a couple of things we can do with it. I don't think these are deal-breaking, but I think these are nice little quality of life things that we'd all appreciate. I kind of wonder why they weren't already there to start with, but, you know, beggars can't be choosers. So the first thing with trophies and achievements, literally the other day I was sat playing Fire Emblem Three Houses, and look, it'd been a while since I'd played my Switch, and I went to my profile, and there was only my playtime, and I just found myself there by muscle memory thinking we had achievements. I actually was a bit disappointed. Long have Sony and Xbox been treating me to my little dopamine hit every time I even beat a boss, discover a secret, or talk to a waifu 10 times. So much so that I found myself taking this kind of for granted, and considering how many of Nintendo's games are known for their endless replayability, adding in some challenges like Mario Jumps and finding secret areas, all the collectibles, hell, even give us some Nintendo points if we unlock them, so we can then spend them on the eShop. Oh god, that would be great, actually. That would be amazing. I want that so bad. It feels like a staple of other consoles at this point, with PC games also having these on Steam, and we've got so many third-party releases already that are creating these. So it'd just be a simple idea to them to include that wouldn't necessarily involve a lot of extra work for them. Even Nintendo's own games have in-game achievements. Why can't this just be baked into the firmware instead? Yeah, sure, a little extra work, but then I can show them off to my amazing friends. We can look at this. We can compare. It's just good fun. Just a better player experience in general, I would argue. When it comes to what we want for the Switch 2, though, can anyone really be that surprised that I'm going to bring up the eShop? Because honestly, Nintendo need to do something about it. And while they haven't bothered throughout this generation, between the slow interface, that even lag thinks is too much, if I'm being truly honest with you, the increasing amount of ridiculous shovelware and AI-generated games are just filling the eShop. And now, honestly, this has actually led to a point that fans are now making a better eShop experience, and it obviously shows that this is probably one of the most requested features that they are getting. Honestly, I know that the Switch 2 is backwards compatible, so I'm not entirely sure how likely it is we'll see a completely different eShop, or if there be two different eShops. I'm not sure how they want to work it. But we do need to have some kind of improvement here. And hopefully, this is all sorted so we don't get jump scared by a bunch of adult content every time we open the eShop, which actually should just be able to be toggled off. But there are reports that indicate that even using a child account doesn't necessarily get rid of all the instances, which is now honestly ridiculous. Like, come on, Nintendo, you've got a large demographic of children on your console. Do better. Now for some music. Now, while the Switch might be one of the highest sellers for Nintendo, in fact, I could actually imagine it beating out the PS2 sooner or later the way it's going. Look, I've been around since the Game Boy Advance and the Wii. And to me, putting them up to a little jingle, the Wii home screen music, or of course the Wii shop theme, tunes so iconic, they've been remixed so many times, even into club tunes. Helping inject an element of personality to the screens that has been so ingrained in Gen Z brains, we just can't shake it, no matter how hard we try. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping that the Switch 2 eShop has something similar next time as well. Just to help my brain as I endlessly scroll for the games and make my picks about what will become my next obsession for that foreseeable future. While we might not spend loads of time on these screens, I just think it would be great to allow them to have some kind of personality. Give us something to be nostalgic about, or they could just go a completely different route entirely and get Spotify, or even their own Spotify for Nintendo music, playing on the Switch too. And then, I don't know, just allow background play, similar to how the Xbox and the PlayStation do it at the end of the day. Considering the Wii has such a big place in most of our hearts, I would love to see some kind of return to that Me Plaza. And yes, I know we could create them in the settings section, but it's just not the same. I want to have mountains of me's of my friends and my family. I remember going to my friend's house after school and we just sit there and we make me's of each other. And while, yes, they weren't necessarily always flattering, but as the years went on, we might have lost touch with those friends or things happened. But this was still like a place to collect all those memories in that one plaza. Also, sometimes we made them just of TV characters and celebrities. Because why not? We did have this to a degree with the 3DS, with the Street Pass Me Plaza. And look, I just would say Mii's are just a part of Nintendo's charm now. We just have to face facts. Now, considering I've mentioned the Street Pass Me Plaza, it kind of brings me back round to another feature I think we should have seen on the Switch. Now, the Switch is in itself a hybrid console, which I'm sure a lot of us just take on the go. Early on in my Switch's life, that was kind of pandemic era, so it was kind of docked a lot more. But I would say in the last almost year at this point, I don't think it's been docked at all. I don't even think my dock's plugged in anymore. It's always out on the go. Where was Street Pass? I'm always waiting around killing time. It's the perfect point for Street Pass. There was a point where there were communities who were dedicated to trying to keep some element of Street Pass alive. There was even gaming influencers announcing they were taking their 3DS to events with Street Pass enabled. So why did Nintendo allow this feature to die on the 3DS? Nintendo had one of the greatest opportunities right on their hands. And they have a rare second chance. Daddy Nintendo, do not let this chance pass you by. Please. Obviously, the service has now shut down, but it was only in the last year. So to kind of explain, if you aren't aware, Street Pass basically allowed the transfer of various different gameplay data, some Mii data. Hell, Fire Emblem Awakening allowed you to create a team that would then fight other Street Pass teams for rewards. Look, honestly, it was just a fun little gimmick, but we got to enjoy that. And there was an assortment of ways to do it that could be so well optimized if they wanted to do it again. Considering we've mentioned the 3DS, it also brings me on to features I would like to see return from that era. Namely, I'd like to see the return of some kind of activity log. And yes, while the 3DS also acted as a pedometer, it also showed us the playtime of all of our games, instead of the Switch's maximum being 20 at any time. Which, look, I'm not complaining, but I want to be able to see all of my games, just like how PlayStation do it, and Xbox. I want to see the ones I've spent the most amount of time in. I want to see how long I've done it. It's just, I know it's a small thing, but it's one that I do think a lot of people find themselves checking out much more frequently than they will admit. Themes, a way to personalize the home screen of our consoles, and look, it's a surprisingly recurring theme. See what I did there? For a lot of the consoles currently on the market, they do not offer this option. The Switch actually did, but only two, white or black. And with such a rich history of games like Mario, Zelda, Chibi Robo. Maybe not Chibi Robo, but why don't we have themes around characters? Hell, use the Nintendo coins we earn from those rewards and missions for them, and look, I won't complain. Maybe I'll actually spend some of them. Just please give us control over how this device welcomes us in. Allow us to make it feel like it's ours and that little bit unique. For example, my PS4 has a Makoto theme the minute I boot it up because I am a simp and I want everyone to know it. Give me a chance to simp, show off of my favourite characters for you, Nintendo. You did it for the 3DS. Why can't the Switch 2 have nice things too, please? Now, if the rumours and this definitely weird section of the trailer, if it isn't real, have led us to believe that there will be a sensor allowing us to use the Joy-Con as a mouse. Kind of similar to the Lenovo Legion Go, except, less fighter pilot style. And I say we need a reason to use it, because the IR sensor in the Switch 1 Joy-Cons just never got used. I think I can count on my hands the amount of games that supported it, namely Labo, Ring Fit, and Resident Evil Revelations. That kind of was a curveball. Apparently you could cover the IR sensor and that would help you reload. Honestly, I have to agree, that was very cool. But the full list of games is here. What even is spy alarm? It just sounds like shovelware. The mouse feature for a portable console is kind of interesting. My question is how they will use it, but as long as it is used, I think this might be a feature that will have a more extensive pickup, with more precision aiming for FPS games. Does this mean Call of Duty for the Switch 2 confirmed? This could also be used for point-and-click games, which honestly would help make this even more of a console of choice for them. Even simulation games like Civilization, which has a sequel coming, and Civ 6 apparently did stupidly well when it launched. And let's add on top of that, are we going to be able to plug in external mouses for a docked situation, like a wireless mouse, that makes that slightly easier? I don't know. I'm kind of intrigued to see if there are going to be proprietary systems that allow that. Look, honestly, the Switch 2 is looking like everything it needs to be and so much more, with lots of new features, and let's not lie, it's Nintendo. We're all going to buy it for that extreme amount of exclusives they have up their sleeve. And I'll be honest, the fact that this is backwards compatible just is even better. But if we can add these extra quality of life updates as well, which, you know, maybe we'll see these in the April Direct. But I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. And if they do, I think this might actually somehow sell even better than the current Switch. So Nintendo, good job on the naming as well. You learned from that Wii U situation, didn't you? Good job. In the meantime, we have more content coming here, so drop a like, subscribe, or comment, and let me know if you missed anything that you want Nintendo to improve upon for the Switch 2. I actually had a hard time thinking about this. This was just all of the last bit of my wish lists of things I wanted. So I'm not sure how much more they could improve on this system, but I hope they've got something up their sleeve. Anyway, see you in the next one.